Okay, welcome everybody again to a special school board meeting for Garden Valley School District number 71, Saturday, April 6, 2024. The actual time is 10:03, and we are meeting here. I know why, but I don't know if I can say why, so I'm not going to say anything. So I'm going to do a call to order here. Can I get a roll call, please?
Kylie Peters, aye.
George Simpson, aye.
Ken Donnelly, here.
Eric Ballou.
Clay is traveling right now, but he said to call in. He could maybe get online. So I have item number 3 on the agenda. I have a motion to approve and adopt the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve and adopt agenda.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Item number 4, we're going back into executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 74-206, Section 1, Subsection A, for personnel.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session, Section 74-206-1A. Personnel.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, I need a roll call vote on this too.
Kylie Peters, aye.
George Simpson, aye.
Ken Donnelly, aye.
Eric Ballou, aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Yes.
Okay. Where do you want to start? Can everybody hear us okay? Okay.
I want to start with Pat's. Pat was he's doing a class right now, so he couldn't join us.
Oh, okay.
And so we asked him to record kind of the process that he went through, and I'd like to share that.
Okay. Let me see.
It might be better if everybody moved up front. so
I'll
you can
come
hear.
up there.
It's coming off of a cell phone volume.
Okay. So Pat did want to say something. He's in a class today, so I'm just going to put it where
You can take it over there.
everybody
I
can
can
hear
get
it.
closer.
And I should get it on this thing too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I vetted the top 3 out of the 4 candidates. They were the top 3 by also the handpicked private committee that I had, which were a high school representative, middle school representative, district representative, and one of the board members. I've talked to previous teachers and employees. I've talked to previous superintendents who've worked with different people. I've vetted, Clete, especially with the IASA. I've talked to a couple members of the State Department of Education, the lawyers. I've talked to several lawyers. Clay also mentioned that he did talk to New Plymouth and council, since he knows people in those areas also. He does hold a principal and a superintendent's credentials, which would benefit us immensely. He has experience in both and has dealt with small schools in all of his life, and so brought council school district from a 4-day bottom 5% to a 4-day top 5% in the state. And so it's just done wonders, and I think he would be the best candidate for us to hire. Okay.
Okay. So I kind of put Pat on the spot there.
Can I just play the first 2 minutes again?
It probably only is 2 minutes.
Yeah.
How about the first 30 seconds then?
Okay.
Can we do that after?
It's already recorded.
Okay, then, did I hear him say he had a hiring committee?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then I do want to let the board know that I requested, through public records request, the names of the hiring committee. And the response back was, there was no hiring committee.
Well, he had people that he asked to vet these people.
Well, I mean, he used the word hiring committee. I just want the board to know that.
Maybe that's yeah.
Did you guys want the motion to be for next school year? Right now it's open-ended.
Yeah, I guess we didn't clarify that.
Like a one-year contract.
Would you like to amend your motion?
Ken made the motion, so.
Sure. I'll amend
You could
it.
say amend the motion to add for the.
Okay, I want to amend my motion to add that we are voting whether Clete Edmunson will be our principal at District 71 Garden Valley School for the the 24-25 school year.
And second, okay, and I got a second on that from Eric. Okay, so we played that, but there's also other stuff we want to talk about, so.
Yeah, so I just wanted to let everybody know that this isn't a decision that I've taken lightly at all. I know that all of our board members have done a lot of research as far as wanting information. We all agree that we have great teachers and that they're the heart of our school, and we want to take care of them the best that we can, make the best selection we can. I've talked to a lot of parents or people in the community and elsewhere, other schools, even outside schools, talked to administrators. I will say that I've heard a lot of good and a lot of bad. And when it came down to weighing the decision for me, a lot of the bad came secondhand, whereas a lot of the good came firsthand. People that worked for Clete, worked with Clete, supervised Clete, the students. So I guess I compare it to how outsiders might look at our school right now. If all they based their decisions or their feelings on was what is posted in Facebook or Idaho Education News, there's a lot of negatives there, and I don't feel like that's a fair assessment. When I look at our school, I just started writing down some of the things that a lot of people may or may not know about our school and the positives that I see every day. I do feel like our community's pretty aware of the Future Cities program and that we've sent 3 different groups of kids to DC. The community's been a great support for that, fundraising and everything else. But I wanted to bring up some of the other things that maybe they don't know about. Over almost a dozen kids went to drama in state last year. We just had the Matilda play that our community gets to go watch. There's 40 kids involved in that. I look at our Christmas programs and how proud I am of the kids watching those and getting up there in front of everybody doing a great job, the work and effort that goes into that. If we want to talk about athletics, our football and basketball team made it to state. Girls basketball team, they were 1 game away from state. I think they came out of nowhere. Very proud of them. Cross-country team was the first time they made it to state, was last year as a team. I could go on and on. The track, as far as that goes, the science fair. Last year, kids went to the science fair and got voted top school. There were scholarships awarded and everything else. So I think that's really cool. I'm talking to the seniors this year. How many of them are leveraging that launch program? I could have went on and on with this list. So I just want to say that I don't think it's fair to, I'm going to look at it as a clean slate. We'll see.
Okay.
I think he gets a fair shot at it. The thing that stuck out most to me in our interview was he said that he's in Alaska, but he would like to get down here before the school starts this year because he wants to meet all the teachers and show the person that he really is. And he wants them to be comfortable and looking forward to next school year. That meant a lot to me.
Yeah, and I also spoke to 2 people at IASA, people at the state and former people that he worked with. I couldn't find anything that they said that was disparaging about him. These are people that are well respected at IASA. They've been there for years. Our attorney and another attorney that worked with him. And regarding the matter that's out there in the public on the lawsuits, we can't talk a bunch about that, but these guys didn't feel there was much there. Seems
One of
like
those
there's
David Brigham?
Excuse me?
Was one of those David Brigham?
I don't know if I can answer that from this person, because I'm just giving a broad spectrum here of people I've talked to. But that being said, there's a couple issues I had with the other candidates that weren't with Clete here, so again, we're making the best decision with the information we have, right? And we're only going off the recommendation of the superintendent too. We're not the hiring committee, right? We're just going off the recommendations. So.
Are you guys allowing discussion?
I
I just have a question. It's not.
I don't have my attorney on right now, so I don't know if it's appropriate. Can I turn off the recorder? Can't, right? I don't want to box myself into a spot.
Can I?
Actually, you can make a
speak
comment,
and
and
you
maybe we
choose to
can't.
respond?
Yeah.
Okay. I know multiple people in this room as well on the board have been part of hiring committees in the past. And so in those hiring committees, you typically have multiple stakeholders throughout the school and the community that help you have buy-in. And so for me, going outside of that process is causing a disruption, because the people that we would typically be able to turn to say, how did the interview process go? There's a list of questions typically. That list of questions gives you true evidence that there even was an interview done by a committee. We don't have any of that. We have an email, we have the conversation among just a few people, but that's not the process that we have typically here and set a precedence for. Over many years, that's what the community expects. And I know that didn't happen with the interim superintendent position or when the superintendent was hired. Again, that leaves us with little trust and faith in decision-making. And so for me, I believe that if you followed that process, you would have less resistance.
Yeah, and
I don't feel like that happened this time either. And so I just believe that that's why you're encountering this, because there's little information known.
yeah, I guess I can't speak for that.
You don't have to.
Yeah, okay.
I just wanted you to hear me.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to make just, not a comment directly on that, but just in general. This is my first time, Ken's first time, we're new to this. And just trying to understand, and Ken was talking about how, this feels like it's probably the most important decision we've made so far, for sure, but maybe make while we're doing, hopefully the most important one we make, because in the short time that I've lived here, 4 years, there's been a lot of turnover in board members and principals and superintendents, and we all have kids on this, in this school. And we want really what's best for the kids. And one of the things that stood out to me in the interview that we did have with Clete was his remark of, I really focus on what's best for the kids. And I just felt like he was so sincere with that. You know how sometimes you just get the feeling that somebody is sincere. And I felt very comfortable. This is a good choice for my kids, for this school. And the other stuff was just kind of reinforcing that, going through all the documents, finding out as much as I could understand about what happened and the questions we asked them, what happened in New Plymouth, what happened in council, and getting good answers to that. We didn't just ignore those questions. We asked a lot of them. And I really feel good about this candidate. There's a time issue when I had a discussion with one of the principal in Horseshoe Bend, I just stopped by on my drive home and talked to Dennis Chestnut, and I said, when's a normal time of year? He says, you're kind of behind on this. It's tough to find somebody this late in the year, and I feel really grateful that we were able to get a good candidate, and good candidates, but one really particularly good candidate that I think has a skill set to be able to also do superintendent roles, which is nice because we don't have a full-time superintendent, so it's nice to have somebody that's got kind of the background of the wherewithal with that. That also matters a lot for me.
Yeah, and the way I understand it, we're not Pat made a recommendation to the board. We're approving or disapproving, is the way our function works on this. Does that sound right, Stephanie?
It does, but it's also your role to confirm that your employee is doing his due diligence.
Right.
And following his procedures.
Which I feel he's done. I did read the policy that you put out.
And my request would be to bring 5100 back to you for revision. There's 2 mays that should be shalls.
Yeah, there's a lot of
And fixing those
stuff.
shalls
I
will
agree.
tighten that up, but that doesn't change that that is a loophole because precedence has been set, I'm talking for decades, of how the hiring process happens here. And this isn't just for our administration. This is for our classified employees. It's from the top down. And so to go outside of this, for me, does not bring team leadership, does not join a school and its employees, or does not, I just feel that it isolates you, I feel it isolates the staff, and I feel that it is absolute power. And if that's the kind of leadership you guys are looking for, then that's what we'll get, but I don't know that it's easy to work under that kind of leadership.
I kind of see where you're going with that, but in the end, it is the superintendent's ultimate decision, right? In the end.
And that's why you get resistance.
Right.
If you don't have a leader that is a team leader.
Well,
I mean, there are lots of professionals here.
I probably shouldn't comment on that either.
Yes, there are lots of professionals here,
Yeah.
and the hire that you guys are making is gonna be over all of our certified staff outside of the top. And so given that, you want them to have buy-in, you want them to say, we've got a great guy coming and we're excited.
Yeah.
And we can't say that at this time because they don't even know them. Like they didn't meet them, we haven't done a meet and greet, there isn't a community QA, there's nothing going on. And those types of things are the norm.
Yeah.
And
me being only on the board for 2 years, I don't know really what the norm is because I wasn't involved in
Of
school
course.
before that. So we're just going based on policy and what
yes.
we know. So
And that's why I asked 5100 be brought back to the
Yeah.
table.
yeah.
So here's what it boils down to me, is I looked at, like, did I feel like it was advertised fairly? And I look, it was in the Idaho World, it was on Ed Jobs Idaho, school website, social media. Then I got on Google, I searched open principal positions in Idaho. It popped right up with a whole list of other open principal positions. And it shows that it's been advertised, look, this morning, for 29 days. From the time that we got that original list, I called Pat yesterday, I'm like, has there been any additional applicants? Because I wanted to throw out as wide a net as we could. The more applicants we could get, the better, was my thought. I called principals at other schools, I'm like, hey, if you know somebody, we have this opening, pass it along. So basically, we got the same list, we got to choose the best candidate that's on that list.
So from the committee, what was the recommendation from the committee?
I don't think we could speak to that in here either because that wasn't.
We weren't part of it, actually.
Yeah,
All of us were not part of that committee, so that's tough to know. I think the committee was, I look at it as kind of like a football team. And, early on when I was kind of trying to understand my role as a board member, and how this works. And we still haven't had training, by the way. It's happening this month, but still understanding my role. When I talked to Chris, our attorney, out in the parking lot, how does this normally work as far as principals and superintendents and school boards? Just help me out. And because we all kind of sensed there was tension between the principal and superintendent. So he kind of explained to me how it's really nice if a superintendent, which he compared to like a coach, picks his quarterback. And it is really nice if you go out and you ask the players or the fans what your input is. But ultimately, you really have to have the buy-in from that coach for that quarterback. And it's best if they're picked. And that's an important part for me is if we've decided that Pat's our guy, and we have, for right now, we want him to have his best quarterback. And of the choices we have, he feels really good that way. And I really like that Pat has worked with him. It's not somebody that he hopes will work out. It's somebody that he's spent a lot of time with, a friendship with, of sorts, or a working relationship. And I think that's positive. That's not negative. That's good. And that was a trait that I thought, that will be helpful, because, our role is really just to support the superintendent and the direction that the school's going, and help kind of guide that as we can. And I really feel like having a good relationship between those two players, or team members, or positions is really critical to the success of our school.
Any more discussion?
You mentioned earlier you talked to Clete about the events in Plymouth and at council, and obviously the litigation is a big concern of mine, and I think it's probably a big concern with a lot of people. So what about that discussion are you able to share?
I don't know much at all, because
I really don't think there's anything.
I don't think we can.
Yeah.
I think all we can say is that we asked the questions. He had really good answers to what he could share, and then when he was off, we can kind of talk to the attorney about those things as well, or recommendations on that as well. And I felt like I'm satisfied with that.
Okay, all in favor?
Eric Ballou, aye.
Ken Donnelly, aye.
George Simpson, aye.
Kylie Peters, aye.
Okay, so that means we're gonna hire Clete, sorry guys, it's been a lot, Edmunson, for principal for school year 2024, 2025, for Garden Valley School District number 71. And with that, I adjourn. Thank you all for coming out.
Has Kylie have you rescinded your resignation?
We're adjourned, but her resignation's still floating out there. We just haven't accepted it.
They haven't accepted my resignation.
I refuse to.
It's not like you need permission to resign.
I understand that.
We actually do
I'm
have to
gonna-
accept it.
They have
as a
to
board.
accept it legally. So,
So you haven't rescinded it then? You're waiting for them to accept it?
Steve, I don't know the legality around that, so I'm still on the board until I notify them otherwise, or they accept my
Our attorney said
resignation.
it's okay.
Our attorney,
I'm not questioning this. Yeah, it's okay to be there.
I
I'm
just
wondering.
need some time right now.
Yeah, okay, because, it causes confusion
I understand
when
that.
it's on the minutes or the agenda.
They tabled it.
I know they
so-
tabled it, but then you showed up, so that's why I asked the question.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll know more in a few weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a personal thing.
Thank you, ma'am.